When I was 10, 11, 12, my passion was playing baseball. And I was a pretty good baseball player for a while. I remember one Saturday going to an early morning baseball practice, and our 17 and 18-year-old young men, they're all talking about what they're going to do after high school. And I was just a 14-year-old freshman, and I'd always thought that I was going to play professional baseball. And they're talking about college and business and stuff like that, and they said, "Jimmy, what are you going to do when you graduate high school?" Man, high school for me was a great time. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of friends. I was pretty popular. I played basketball. I played baseball. I even had a couple girlfriends in my high school life. In my senior year, I was voted the funniest kid in my class. At 17 years old, I joined the United States Navy, and life was good. You probably have heard stories about how recruiters lie to people to get them to join, and then how everything they say is a lie. Well, that's not how it was for me at all. Everything that my recruiter told me was going to happen is exactly how it did happen when I was in the Navy. I graduated from C school on December 15th, 1989. And I came home on leave, and I was supposed to report to my submarine on January 19th. So I had a little over a month on leave, and it was awesome. I mean, it was Christmas time, so all my friends were home from college, and we just, we were hanging out and having fun and stuff. And one of my buddies threw a big party for all of our friends. My best friend in high school, his name was Scott, and a couple hours in the party, it was getting loud and stuff. And he said, "Let's go on the roof and let's talk." Well, my buddy was in a second-story apartment complex, so we climbed up on the porch and get on the rail of the porch, and we jumped up on the roof, and somehow we made it up there, and we're just sitting on the roof drinking our beers. And all of a sudden he goes, "Hey Jimmy," he goes, "how come you're drinking?" He goes, "When you were in high school, you were a pretty good kid. You didn't go out much and stuff and drink a whole lot." And he goes, "I thought as well as you're doing in the Navy, you were making better choices than that." I looked at him, he had a beer in his hand, and I said, "Well, how come you're drinking?" And we both kind of just laughed it off and thought nothing of it. But I remember standing up and kind of losing my balance a little bit. And I looked down off the side of the roof, and there was a big, huge pine tree growing up. And I had this thought, and it went something like this: "Do you really think that you're in that much control, Jimmy, that if you were to fall and hit your head on that pine tree, that you'd be okay?" And it kind of freaked me out, kind of weirded me out, but I just kept on drinking, and it wasn't long before I forgot that and was back down at the party. And at about that point, I decided it was time to go for a drive. And Scott's brother, Scott was the guy that I was up on the roof talking with, his brother Brad came to the party, and he had just gotten there, so he had not had anything to drink yet. And I thought, man, this is my perfect opportunity. I said, "Brad," I said, "go get my keys from Terrell, and I'll take you on the ride of your life." We're supposed to meet everybody from the party at the movie theater about 10:30 at night, and we're driving down this road, and he's like, "Hey Jimmy, pull over in this hotel and let me get back in the driver's seat." He goes, "I don't want Terrell to see you driving and get mad at me." I said, "Okay." And Brad got in, and he was, I guess he was about 17 years old at the time, and so he wasn't drinking, but he was having fun in my sports car. And when we were coming around a curve in this very, very narrow two-lane road in Tallahassee, we were going about 70 miles an hour. And Brad says that when we were coming around a curve, a car was coming towards us, and he was in our lane, so Brad veered off the side of the road. And when he brought it back onto the road, we went into a 360 spin. We spun into the left ditch, and we hit a culvert, and we hit that thing going about 70 miles an hour, and we flipped several times. And both Brad and I were thrown out of the car. And at that point, no one's really sure what happened, but what the police officer speculated, I was thrown about 50 feet through the air, and I came to a sudden stop when my head hit a pine tree. My brother-in-law was actually the first one to the hospital, and he got there because he lived closer to the hospital than the accident was. At the same time, an ambulance was arriving. He said, and when they opened the ambulance doors, he said, "Jimmy," he goes, "I looked in, and I saw your blonde hair." And he goes, but the rest of you was covered in blood from head to toe. He said, "You were unconscious, and in my mind," he goes, "I thought you were dead." So the decisions I made in middle school and high school led me to the place where it cost me almost everything. My life didn't end, but my life took a whole new direction. It was interesting because I was a smart guy. I was a pretty athletic guy, but I went to therapy all day long every day. It was I started. I think it was 8 o'clock in the morning. I went to speech therapy. I was 19 years old, but I couldn't talk. My mouth was not able to make words like it always had. After physical therapy, I went to educational therapy. I had to learn how to learn again. After educational therapy, I went to pool therapy, where I was in the water some. Then I went to physical therapy. Then I had lunch, and then I was in occupational therapy. So basically, I was in therapy for most of the day. Everything was hard. Walking was hard. Learning how to drive again was a challenge. Talking. Everything that you do every day and take for granted was a struggle for me. I didn't want to give up. And my therapist said, work hard, you're going to get it all back. And I remember the day before I was discharged. It was a Friday, and I was going to be discharged from the hospital on a Saturday. And my therapist gave me this list of exercises to do at home. And I said, Jan, how long? She goes, what do you mean? I said, how long each day do I need to do these? She goes, Jimmy, don't ask me these questions. I said, you've got to tell me. If I do them 8 hours a day, how long until I get it all back? How long until I'm running around playing ball with my friends again? She goes, Jimmy, don't ask me this question. I said, you have to give me something. She goes, Jimmy, you'll never get it back. I said, but you always said work hard and I would. She said, we had to, because that's what most patients need in order to get them to even try. When I was growing up, I thought, man, when I have kids, man, I'm going to love playing baseball with them and stuff. Well, I can't play baseball. I can't run with my kid. And I never thought when I was having fun that it would ever affect my life the way that it has. But the fun that I had when I was in high school and middle school will never make up for the pain that I feel every time I walk from here to there. Would I rather be healthy and strong and not disabled? Absolutely. The only thing good about being disabled is I get to park close to the stores. But other than that, I'd much rather be completely whole again. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes the choices you make are going to have devastating consequences, and they will cause effects that will last the rest of your life.